Hi, my name is Simanga Makhubu, and I am the host of the Big Daddy Football Corner. And this is the show where I break down games tactically, and specifically Orlando Pirates match. So I do pre-match for big games, and I do post-match for all Orlando Pirates games. And today I'm doing my post-match tactical analysis. City we break out down a game between Orlando Pirates and Richardsbay. Nedbank Cup last 32 game played at King Zwelithini Stadium in Durban, and I also managed to also be there to actually watch the game live. Hence, I had to go rewatch the game again before I shoot this video in the evening, so that at least there is nothing that I'm actually missing. I think maybe an observation will be in the lineup. Firstly, obviously Chaine as well as BC not there. Because Chaine had 3 yellow cards, getting another yellow card in this game obviously would have meant he doesn't play the debut. Usbisi was also serving as well as his 3 yellow cards, so Buthelezi and Kogi started in this particular match, right? So there's something interesting, Buffett. So maybe in the beginning, it's something that Coach KB, who is one of the analysts that we have in the TTB show, also people know him from Muffins Weight. He always ensure that when he go watch a match live, he arrives early because he wants to watch the warm-up. He always believes that watching the warm-up will tell you how the team is going to play, right? And today I decided to actually come early and watch the warm-up. There was something interesting that I saw on Richardsbay side, whereby their coach was actually warm-upping or training their back four, right? Or they were training their defense. Let me start there. Let's say back four first. Training their defense, and it was 4 guys. Already by that, I already knew that they are not going to play a back 5. They're going to play a back 4, right? Also, what they were doing basically is he was passing the ball to one of the 4 defenders, and one will engage, go forward, engage on a pass, and when he engages the pass, the other guys, in sort of an order, they will kind of squeeze in the line and make it a little bit compact, right? And then when he comes back, then they open again, right? For me, that was interesting, and it shows that that is how they want to do their defense. It also talks to that simply because Orlando Pirates in the pockets, they are lethal. So it already showed that they already prepared for such, right? The other thing that they were also doing was then the coach then obviously will hit the ball high. One will engage on a header. Again, same thing as well. They will then drop a bit, and then when this player engages, or one of their defenders engages, then they will squeeze again the area and make it a little bit compact. That's the word I was looking for. So already you could see that that's what they are planning. And if you go into the match, that's exactly what they did actually. So Coach KP, Danko, we learn every day, guys. So now, first up observation, Buffett, that I noticed, right, was Orlando Pirates deliberately was attacking the side, or the left-hand side, or the left back side. So the space between the left back and the center back, that is where Nkota was. That's where they were exploring that side. I don't know how many times, guys, I saw Diano overloading that side, creating 2v1 situation into that scenario, ensuring they're attacking that side. So Nkota was operating on the pockets, and then Diano was operating on the right channel, or even in the middle channel in some instances. And we know Orlando Pirates in those pockets, they are very, very, very dangerous. So for me, it was very, very interesting, because this is an observation that I noticed from the warm-up, and that's exactly how then they ended up playing, and Orlando Pirates then exploited that area. If you go watch the first goal that was scored by Tito, Maswanganyi, and the second goal that is scored, it came from one side, and exactly on the side that I'm mentioning, on the left center back side. And Rene had 2 assists, and Kota has 2 secondary assists. Now that was very, very interesting, guys. That was very, very interesting. You could see the side whenever they were playing on the Rene side. They were switching quickly on the other side. Diano joining that attack into that side to overload that side and create the 2-1 situation. Those 2-1 situations. For me, that was very, very interesting. And it worked for Orlando Pirates in the first half. They actually scored 2 goals from such scenarios. The other thing that I observed in this particular match, the box shape defense was back again. Rest defense was back again. 2 center backs and 2 central midfielders with the left back and the right back going high. And I honestly think, even in the first half, with the guys that I was sitting with, I was like, guys, on transition, we are going to concede. Because we look like conceding every time, there was transition in this moment. Because the other moment was Uxogi was dropping into midfield because they were dragging Uxogi from there because he was following the striker into midfield. And behind him, there was a space that they were exploiting in that side. And they will create 3v2 situation. Sometimes they will create 2v2 situation in that particular. But special mention, Tato Mohlame, Richardsbay number 7. It also happens that he's so Vilakazi's son. I think that boy is incredible. He's about 25 years old, but I think he exploited those spaces that Uxogi was, or even our defense, as well as Uxogi was creating in those scenarios, right? Then on the side, Liga Rele, what was interesting for me was what they have played in Richardsbay, because they used Usiabonga Dube, the number 18, and he was man marking Urele. And at times, they will always ensure that on 1v1 situation, when he creates that, he man mark him. And I think in those scenarios he won. But he won when Rele was in the far channel. As soon as Rele drops into the Migli channel, that's where then the problem was, because then they could not trace him or even manage to actually mark him in that instance. So you will see they were double marking him. Sometimes they will even triple marking him in that regard, and he was causing a lot of problems. But big ups to Siabonga Dube, because I think he did incredible well on 1v1 situation, especially on the far channel, right? I think in the first half, Uptelezi had nothing to do. Absolutely nothing to do. I think Orlando Pirates dominated the first half and they defended well with the ball. Come the second half, another observation in the halftime, Shandu and Dlozi were warming up. And I said, something is going on in this. And guess what? Diano, in the very first or second minute, wahlala phansi, and he was subbed. Guess who the second sub was? It was again Shandu. For me, it then shows that already they were planning for the sub. So in the second half, I just think everything went south, guys. Even in the very first few minutes, I noticed stray passes. All of a sudden, our defense doesn't know where to be and what shape to keep. When Diano invert, they seem to be confused as to where they need to be. They were just caught in 6 and 7 in that particular match. Oh, guys, I honestly think Ronnie Gabriel as well as Upapi Zotwane, they did an incredible job, because there was a tactical switch that they did. Because what they did, they had a free man that was sitting behind Lokuzan, Umbata, behind the pivot, Umbata no Makhubu, but in front of the defense. As well as the striker was also there, Umbutuma in this instance. That free guy that was there was the one that caused a lot of problems. Because whenever they actually got a ball from us, that's the first player that they will engage. They will engage basically, or that they will end up passing. So for me, the other change that I noticed was they opted for an aggressive press, to the ball carrier. So every time there was Orlando Pirates had the ball, they were aggressive on the press, on the counter press. Mafethu, I think they were good. It was an increased pressure. What they were doing on the counter press. That's why they had an extreme high number of turnovers in the Orlando Pirates half in that particular play. But the goal that Orlando Pirates conceded, I honestly think they had no business in conceding that goal. It was a stupid goal to concede, because if you look at it, it was a 2v5 situation if I include the goalkeeper. Also, Uptelezi should have tried and patted the ball outside in the line, man. Not Pagats in Endawo, where Mbutuma just had a tap in that particular. But in that goal, I think, honestly, we were caught out of shape. We were caught of our position. The other thing that I also asked myself, I was like, where are the leaders in the club, right? Because when we were under siege, there was no player that stood up and stood up and say, guys, come on. I was waiting for that particular person, who was going to direct traffic and say, guys, calm down. You know, everybody was rushing, everyone was panicking, and I said to myself, this is why I always say Usipho Chaine is very important for Orlando Pirates. For me, he's the future Orlando Pirates captain because he's the one that talks the most and also talk to the guys and say, guys, just relax when it's time to relax. Also, I just feel as Orlando Pirates, we lack that central midfielder, guys, that is going to control the midfield. That is going to know when to keep possession and when to start attacking. Because we cannot get the ball and all rush all the same time. There are times where we need to consolidate the game. You know, just play around the ball. And we don't need to rush. But the other interesting observation was Mabasa scoring in this particular game. You know, because he missed the other chance in a similar angle, and guess who went and consoled Umabasa? It was Makhubu. But for me, Umabasa, I just love his hunger to keep scoring. Guys, but one thing for Orlando Pirates in this particular game that I was happy about, that's big teams need to know how to win, even when they're not playing well. And I think Orlando Pirates is starting to master that, especially the second half, because I honestly think the second half was actually horrible in this particular game, right? Congratulations to Rele for winning man of the match. But guys, thank you. Thank you so much for watching this particular channel. Please subscribe and comment. Let's engage, Mafetu. Then last thing as well was the coach criticizing himself. He was talking about the subs and he was saying he could have done better. And I honestly think he could have done better because in these games, where especially when the game is we are losing control of it, you know you got a Dlamini that can assist you to keep the ball, that can assist you in those consolidating phases. That is the player you should always bring in those moments. Mafetu, yeah.